Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're totally shattering the overnight success myth. We're going to unpack the real timeline, the actual strategy, and, let's be honest, the real grind behind massive solo founder revenue. We're focusing entirely on the 10-year audience growth strategy. It's essentially a blueprint for building extreme permissionless leverage, without VC funding, without a massive team, and crucially, without completely burning out by month 2.
So let's dive right into a frankly staggering figure. $3 million in annual recurring revenue. I mean, for most startup founders, hitting a number like that means raising millions in funding, giving up your board seats, and just surviving this intense pressure cooker from investors. But we're looking at a completely different model today, one that flips the traditional Silicon Valley playbook entirely on its head. Now, what's truly mind-bending here is that this massive $3 million revenue is being generated by a company with absolutely zero employees. Literally zero. No HR department, no middle managers to report to, no awkward daily stand-up meetings. This is the absolute ultimate example of permissionless leverage. It's where your code and your audience do all the heavy lifting, and you, the solo founder, get to focus entirely on just building and shipping. But, and this is a big but, the crucial point here is that this level of leverage absolutely was not built overnight. It required 10 solid years of disciplined execution. That's the secret nobody really wants to talk about on social media. The true cost of having zero employees and massive revenue, it's a decade-long commitment to showing up every single day, building genuine trust, and relentlessly growing an audience. Okay, moving into section 1, the overnight success myth. Let's pull back the curtain on what really happens behind those flashy launch days we constantly see on our feeds. You know the ones. A creator posts a link and suddenly they're raking in thousands a month. But that is just the tip of the iceberg, and honestly, it creates a super dangerous illusion if you're a new founder. See, a standard product launch without an existing audience usually drops you straight into what's known as the trough of sorrow. You get nothing but crickets. You launch and, well, you might scrape together $500 to maybe $2,000 in your first month. But an established audience? That flips the script completely. It gives you a 3 to 10 times launch advantage right from day one. I mean, when you have a decade-long audience behind you, you can hit $132,000 in monthly recurring revenue in just 18 months. Why? Because your customers are literally already there waiting for you to drop something. So how do you actually get that audience? Well, building in public is the core engine here, and this requires radical transparency. Actually, let me rephrase that. It's not just tweeting, "Hey, I'm working hard today." No, it's sharing unedited revenue screenshots straight from Stripe. It's posting raw feature demos the minute you finish coding them. And most importantly, it's publicly analyzing your failures. It's that daily consistency that takes passive onlookers and transforms them into a massive, fiercely loyal distribution moat. Which brings us to section 2, the audience distribution advantage. To really understand how powerful this moat is, let's look at the extreme case study of solo founder Peter Levels. He is essentially the poster child for this 10-year audience growth strategy. He proves that if you put the time in, your distribution advantage becomes practically unbeatable. I mean, just look at his bootstrapped portfolio. It's a total powerhouse. Photo AI brings in $138,000 a month. Interior AI and Nomad List, they each pull in $38,000 a month. And Remote OK does $35,000. By openly sharing his journey, Levels built a follower base of 600,000 people. That audience serves as a zero-cost distribution channel. So whenever he launches a new product, his customer acquisition cost is basically zero. He's selling directly to folks who have been trusting him for years. Let's look at section 3, the 10-year timeline. We really need to shatter this illusion of instant virality and look at how this actually builds, year by grueling year. If you want to replicate this success, you've got to set your watch to a decade, not a month. Year 1, that is a foundational grind. You are just laying the groundwork. Maybe you get your first 500 to 2,000 followers and a tiny trickle of revenue. Years 2 and 3, that's where your posts might start hitting some viral traction. By years 4 to 6, you hit this amazing inflection point. Your distribution advantage becomes measurable, and your new launches start hitting 10K in their very first week. Finally, years 7 to 10 bring this massive exponential compounding, pushing you to 500,000 followers where the distribution machine basically just runs itself. Now that timeline is undeniably daunting, right? The work is hard and those early years are very, very quiet. But as this fantastic quote from Cortland Allen at Indie Hackers perfectly captures, all you have to do is just not quit. Sheer consistency is your ultimate competitive advantage. While everyone else gives up in month 6 because they aren't millionaires yet, your refusal to quit is the exact thing that builds your moat.
Moving right along to Section 4, Radical Transparency as Strategy.
Okay, so it's not just about posting every single day. It's about exactly what you post that keeps your audience deeply invested in your success. You can't just spam links to your product and expect people to care. There's a perfect content diet for this 10-year strategy, and it really requires balance. About 40% of your content should be hard product updates and demos. Then 30% should be completely transparent revenue metrics. Another 20% is your personal journey, your burnouts, your struggles, the tough decisions you make. And crucially, that last 10%, that should be controversy or polarizing opinions. For instance, defending a super basic tech stack like PHP when everyone else is obsessed with the shiniest new framework. That 10% is what triggers those viral debates that can dramatically grow your reach.
And here is a totally non-negotiable rule for you. Validation comes from Stripe, not from startup porn or free signups. Sharing exact monthly recurring revenue numbers and unedited Stripe screenshots builds so much more trust and credibility than vague revenue ranges or vanity metrics. Specificity builds trust. Think about it. Competitors can copy your app's features over a weekend, sure, but they cannot copy the personal brand and the deep trust you've built by sharing your actual Stripe dashboard month after month.
All right, Section 5, the Solo Founder Playbook. If you're starting from absolute zero today, let's get incredibly practical. Here is your tactical roadmap to get your first 1,000 true followers and really get that distribution engine off the ground. Step 1, niche down intensely. Don't build AI for businesses. Build AI tools for freelance accountants. Get specific. Step 2, add value first. Make 50 or more genuinely helpful comments in existing communities before you even think about dropping a link to your own work. And step 3, document daily build logs. Share that very first dollar you earn. Celebrate getting a single new subscriber. Just focus entirely on helpfulness and authenticity. And as you're building, adhere to the Indie Maker's Manifesto. Number 1, charge from day one. No complex, confusing free tiers. Second, be a generalist. Learn to design, code, and market. Third, solve your own problems. Scratch your own itch. And perhaps most importantly, keep your tech deliberately boring. Use tools you already know well, like PHP and SQLite, to keep your infrastructure costs completely manageable, ideally under $200 a month. By adopting these lean principles, your profit margins can stay in the high 80s, and that gives you the infinite financial runway you're going to need to survive a 10-year journey. I want to leave you with one final, pretty provocative thought. A decade feels like a really long time, I know. But here's the thing. The next 10 years, they're going to pass anyway. The only question is, what kind of permissionless leverage will you have built by 2036? Will you be starting from scratch, or will you have an audience of hundreds of thousands waiting for your next big launch? Start building that foundation today. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you in the next one.